All right, welcome back to another episode of Golf Subpar with Colt, Knost, and Drew Stoltz, brought to you by our friends at Fanatics Sportsbook. And Sleaze, how about this? Hey guys, we're back with our friends at Fanatics Sportsbook, and we wanted to tell you about their offer for new customers, the Gameday Guarantee. Every single football game day now until October, new customers get up to $100 back in FanCash if your football bet loses. Guaranteed. If you're betting with Fanatics Sportsbook, you're either winning or winning money back in FanCash. Your old sportsbook, they're out for the season. Go check it out yourself. Download the app, Fanatics Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Sportsbook app. Sleaze, the time has come. Tommy Fleetwood is now a PGA Tour winner, winning the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup. Pretty dominating fashion, I would say. Won by 3, looked great the entire week, but the whole question was, could he close on Sunday? Stretched it out to a 3-shot lead very early, made the turn with a 3-shot lead, then boom, all of a sudden a 2-shot swing on the 10th with Patrick Cantlay, and he was only up 1 with 8 to play. I feel like most of the golfing world, most of the fans out at Eastlake were all rooting for Tommy Fleetwood, and it was a stressful 9 holes.
Yeah, I mean, going into the day, it was like you got Scotty there, 4 back starting Cantlay. When Scotty hits it out of bounds on his first tee shot of the day, followed by Cantlay being 3 over through 2, I was like, okay, this is the one right here. The 2 guys you're probably most concerned with, Patrick Cantlay and Scotty Scheffler, just spotted you a few. You got to get this thing done. And he looked good. I mean, but he's looked good in a number of tournaments that you thought, like, this is the one. This is the one Tommy's going to close out. You go back to the Traveler. I mean, there's a million of them. And, I mean, ultimately it came down to, like, that 15th. You just got to avoid a disaster there. What a fucking monstrous hole that is, too, by the way, or can be.
I want to talk to you about this 15th hole. Okay, because on Saturday, I believe it was right around like 228 yards, 230. Yeah. We saw 11 of 30 guys hit it in the water.
Yeah.
Earlier today, we were talking on radio, and you're like, that hole might be a little much. And my point to you was this. So when you're at Eastlake, and it's the Tour Championship, you want things to happen. And when you look at that back nine at Eastlake, there's really no hole. You go through the whole list on the back nine, other than 15, where like there can actually be a disaster. Yes, you can make bogeys, but there's not going to be any carnage like what we saw on 15. And it wasn't like people were making 8s. It was hit it in the water, go up, drop, make your 5. Some guys made 4, and you get out of there. So therefore, with it being the only really dramatic hole on the back nine, like I kind of like stretching it out. I said on Thursday and Friday when they played it from 150, I was like, this sucks. They're being so soft. This is the only hole where something can really dramatically happen.
150 doesn't have a lot of juice to it, but 230 also. Like, imagine if you set it up at 230 and then the wind starts blowing in the afternoon. I mean, that thing becomes impossible. When 11 of the best 30 on the planet are hitting in the water, it might be a little bit much. But point being, like, he had to get through that without a disaster, which he did. Ended up looking comfortable with 3, even though I think on the last hole, like, it wasn't done until it was done. But there's other ways you can have drama on a golf course without having holes where you can make a 12. You know, you can have holes like drivable holes and things like that. But that hole, I'm glad I don't have to play it from 230. But it ended up being a comfortable win, which I think is the way he needed it to be. And Scotty kind of looked not Scotty-esque, which probably he's just set the bar so high that anytime he's not perfect on a Sunday, more or less, or a week, really, we kind of look like, oh, what's wrong with Scotty? And you know what? He finished 4th.
Finished tied for 4th.
Yeah, 4th, and it's like, oh.
It's like 14
what
straight.
What a bad week,
yeah,
but
14 straight top.
He's a victim of his own success in that regard.
Yeah, 14 straight top 8s. I believe now 22 straight rounds in the 60s. But he did not look like himself. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if there's something off the course, but even on Saturday, he showed up. He walked onto the tee box with 1 minute before his tee time, which, hey, he's there in time, but that just seems like
nothing
pushing it a little
that.
bit. He's a guy, if you know Scotty Scheffler at all, not on his phone very often. He's a guy who, when you text him happy birthday, he responds 3 months later and says thanks. And the fact that he was like on his cell phone heading to the first hole, I was kind of surprised. So hopefully everything's all right. It was just kind of an off week. It was good to see Ted Scott back. They all wore yellow ribbons for his nephew Joel. So we're also thinking about you, Joel. Hope everything's going to be okay there. But yeah, it just looked a little off. And we say that, and he finished 4th. And
yeah, it's like, what did we...
He birdied the 14th and looked like he was going to be right there, and then he hit it in the water on Sunday, which was just shocking between the out-of-bounds ball and that iron shot. I don't know which was weirder, but kind of crazy to see that happen. But still, just another unbelievable run that Scotty Scheffler's on, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon.
I'm on a text chain with a few guys that are playing. How do you feel about Tommy Fleetwood being the FedEx Cup champion? Like they're like, oh, so the whole narrative is the guy can't close. He never wins a golf tournament. Now all of a sudden he's our FedEx Cup champion when Scotty wins everything. And I'm personally just fine with it. I think you separate the regular season. No one's disputing that Scotty's not the best player in the world. He won 5 times. He's head and shoulders the best. And he got rewarded all the way up to it. Got $10 million at the end of the season, another 5 after the BMW. I think it's okay
and another
for the playoffs.
Don't forget 8. He made $23 million in bonuses before the Tour Championship.
Right. Aon, right? Was that the other one?
There's Aon. They're
Comcast, shoveling money to him for being the best player. I think it's fine to go into a playoffs and have, Scotty didn't win Eastlake. That's okay. He's still the best player in the world. I just think it adds so much more drama to it than just, hey, here's the handicap system. Let's go. Like Scotty needs any more help. Give him all the money. Give him all the rewards. He's still going to win Player of the Year. He's the best. And now we got a quote-unquote playoff. Yeah. But they're still kind of in the middle with what they are. Is this a season-long race or is this a playoff? But I did like the no handicap start.
I did too. I think you have a better chance for drama at the end. I just think you take away the season-long race thing. Like, let's just get rid of that. The points list goes through the BMW. Scotty, because he was leading, got an extra $5 million after the BMW championship. Tommy Fleetwood won the Tour Championship. It's a PGA Tour win. He now has 1, opposed to none, like he did before. I think you say, if you change it to Tommy Fleetwood won the FedEx Cup playoffs, and you just left with that. There's not a season-long race, nothing. I think people will be fine with it. I don't mind the point race going through the Tour Championship. Like, as a guy who watches every single week, back when Steve Sands was on the board all over the place, he's like, so-and-so makes birdie, this guy moves to first. If so-and-so makes bogey, this guy moves to first. Like, I like that stuff. I'm fine with having 2 trophies being handed out. Or if the same guy wins both, if Scotty Scheffler would have won the Tour Championship, he obviously wins both. I'm fine with that. I also would have been perfectly fine if the picture at the end was Tommy Fleetwood with the Tour Championship trophy and Scotty Scheffler with the FedEx Cup trophy. Like, I don't mind that before. Stuff. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Because if you're going to say season-long race, there is no doubt who won that.
Yeah. That's where it gets confusing. And then you got the playoffs, and it's like, all right, well, which is which? I don't think it's ideal in terms of like you and I, dude, we're golf dorks. We talk about golf. We play golf. Like, we consume more than 99% of the people out there. So we can keep pace with like what's going on. And he's your season long winner, but this guy won. He's like, so he's your, he won the Tour Championship. But for an average fan, if you're trying to draw them in and they turn on like, what is this? There's 2 tournaments going on at once here. It's hard to follow. I don't know if there's a perfect way for it, but all I know is at the end of the day, starting Eastlake with everyone level up is 10 times better than the handicap system.
Can I throw one change I would like to see if they keep it this way going forward?
Yeah.
Because I think this is a big advantage. I know it's only 30 guys, and the tee time window isn't like crazy spread out. But Scotty goes last because he's in first. Okay, he plays well, so he's going last again the next day. Whereas since we're starting at 0, there's some guys that get to go earlier, playing in the better conditions earlier. Maybe still on Thursday, Friday, we have an early late wave. That way, everybody gets to play in somewhat the same conditions. Like Scotty going last every single day on soft, wet greens that are going to be chewed up. Obviously, it could be windier later in the day. Like, I think that's a disadvantage.
Yeah, and maybe for TV coverage, like, we want Scotty
of course
to be on when we come on. So, like, we're going to put him last but there's no doubt about it. I mean, every guy on the PGA Tour will be like, yeah, early. I like to play early. It's easier, Yeah,
conditions are perfect, and you have nobody on the greens and all this if you're first off, but I mean, Scotty doesn't need any help. He's 14 straight top 8s.
Yeah, he's fine, but not starting him at 10 under, way better. If they'd done it the old way, Scotty would have won. It would have beat Fleetwood by a shot.
Yeah,
so
which still would have been exciting coming down the stretch. But I like this. I don't like the handicap situation. Straight up. That's how we're going to go.
Straight up.
Also, some Ryder Cup situations happening.
What's going on
because this is our last show before Keegan Bradley makes his captain selection. We got the top 6 on Europe decided as well. Rasmus Højgaard moved into that 6th and final spot. Our final 6 for Team USA has been set, but now the question is, who's going to get picked? He's got 6 of them. It's happening Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, so we will address this next week here on Subpar. But I think it's getting very interesting.
Well, project. Let's make some predictions.
I felt very confident in who I thought he would pick until he did an interview with Todd Lewis, and he said, there's several guys that think they're going to be on this team that are not going to be on this team. And I was just like, holy shit, what does that mean?
Yeah, and it wasn't like there's certain guys that the public think is going to be on this team or that the media think are going to be on this team that won't. It's that the guys themselves think, which I think is a totally different thing. But, I mean, let's go to it right now. Here's the guys that are bubble guys that I think that have a realistic shot. Keegan, obviously. Cam Young, Sam Burns, Maverick McNeely, Brian Harmon, who's no one's even mentioned his name, I feel like. Ben Griffin, there's going to be a juicy debate there, and Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah, I mean, you left out Colin Morikawa.
Yeah,
is he automatically on that team?
We can talk about him. I don't know if he's automatic. He's a very interesting case study on this. Hasn't been great by Colin Morikawa standards. I only has one top 10 or something like that since the Players. That was at the Rocket Mortgage. If you're looking at recent form and just did a blind draw on all these guys and said, hey, who's playing the worst right now? The guys we're considering, probably be pretty easy to point to him. I still think he's going to be on that team. Is that right or wrong? I don't know. But some of these other ones, I think Ben Griffin is a real juicy one. There's some internet talk going around that, hey, don't tell me Ben Griffin's going to be left off. Someone seems to have started that rumor or heard murmurs. I think that would be the wrong decision. I think he's earned it. I should say that. I don't know if there's right and wrong, but I think he's done more than enough. His name wasn't Ben Griffin. If it was Jordan Spieth, it'd be a layup.
Well, I'll address both things you brought up there. Colin Morikawa, I know he hasn't played great as of late. When you're a player like that, a two-time major champion, I think you can find form in a second. You can find something on the range of the putting green tomorrow. I know it hasn't been his typical year. He is still, I believe, 7th in strokes gained total on the PGA Tour for the season. He's ranked 7th in the world. He finished 8th in the points. His putter has not been good this year. That can still change. But you look at his numbers, I'm sorry, it's just really hard for me to see the 7th ranked player in the world getting left off this team. His experience, he went 3-0-1 at the Ryder Cup when it was at Whistling Straits, which everyone had a good record there. I get it. Yeah. It was a blowout. It would be very interesting for me if he was left off this team. Now, a lot's been going on with Colin this year. You got the issues with the media earlier in the year, the caddy change. We've seen several of those. But I don't see, I think there's a better chance of Ben Griffin getting left off than Colin Morikawa.
I think Colin Morikawa will make the team, but I do think it's interesting if you're like, hey, why did we make it so you have 6 captain's picks? Oh, well, we got to have the guys that are in good form leading up. You can stock a bunch of points in the year before or in the early part of the season, year of the Ryder Cup, and play your way on that way, but you might not be playing good when it rolls around, and now we're going to have a guy that kind of, I mean, even if you ask Colin Morikawa, I'd be like, yeah, it hasn't been a good last 2/3 of the year. I haven't been in good form. That being said, I think he's on the team. Ben Griffin is where it's going to get really juicy. He's been phenomenal this year. I thought he did enough a month ago to play his way on a team, and since then, all he's done is play good since then. I think he's finished, He's finished in the top 14, 10 of his last 12 events, or something like that. He rarely plays bad. If
you're Ben Griffin, other than making the top 6, coming from where he has, I don't know what else more you want him to do. I know one of those wins was a team event. Hey, by the way, the Ryder Cup was also a team event. So he's done well in those formats. He won at Colonial. He's top 10 at the PGA. I believe the Open Championship. He's playing great golf. It would be very hard for me to see him left off this team, but with Keegan's comments, and also I read the tweet from No Laying Up, just like you did, who said they're hearing rumor that Ben Griffin's going to be left off this team. That's going to be shocking. That's going to be a very tough phone call for Keegan to make.
Yeah, I don't know. You can always say, oh, we need guys with experience and things like that, but how do you get experience? Everybody's got to be a rookie.
You got to play at some point.
Got to be a rookie at some point. If you look at this year and be like, that's not enough. I just think the only reason he wouldn't be on this team is that his name is Ben Griffin, and it's not a brand name like some of these other guys. I mean, we were trying to make arguments for, people were trying to make arguments for Jordan Spieth and some of these guys that are way down the list. And I'm like, dude, if Ben Griffin, you don't need to make an argument for him. He's made the argument. It's just, are you going to go ahead and take him? So I don't know. Patrick Cantlay.
I just finished second.
Do you think that was it? Do you think that did it? I mean, he's been a bubble guy. He's still outside the top 12, but was that enough?
I mean, he's rounding into form nicely. Played good at the BMW.
Playing fast, too. Playing some fast golf.
He's not playing fast.
Holy shit.
The shuffling of the feet just needs to go away. It's pretty frustrating to watch. I know he's catching a lot of grief for that, but I do think he's done enough to be a pick, especially with what he did in Rome over there in a hostile atmosphere. He was one of the very few.
He was the dog over there.
Him and Max.
Yeah.
And if you tell me both of those guys are going to be left off when that finished up 2 years ago, I'd be like, you're crazy. I do think Patrick gets picked based on his experience and the form he's rounding into. Cam Young, another one. He's playing some great golf. Came out and said, he's like, I think recency bias plays a big part in this. I'm playing great. It's New York. I'm from there. It's one of my favorite golf courses. It's a major championship course. My major championship record's really good. He threw a lot out there saying, like, I should be on this team, which I found a little interesting.
Did you think, though, when Keegan made his comment that, hey, there's some guys that think they're on the team that are going to be he was the first name that came to mind just based on what he'd said recently for everything you just said.
Yeah.
I was like, that sounds like a guy that thinks he's on the team.
And this is a guy who finished 8th a couple of years ago in the point standings and got left off.
Can you do him back-to-back dirty like that? I don't know.
I
think he's I think he's going to be on the team.
I think with his length, and he has turned into a phenomenal putter. His putting stroke has changed. It looks great. I mean, we're talking as recently as Memorial, where he was a disaster on the greens. Now he's one of the best putters on the PGA Tour. I think it'd be really hard to leave him off. The biggest question out of all this, forget that, I think it would be easy to pick the 6 if we knew if Keegan was playing or he wasn't playing.
Let's go to that then.
Yeah, he just finished top 10 Tour Championship. He was up there all week long. I've said this all along. If anyone else is the captain, they're 1,000%. It would be very hard for me to find somebody that would be in that captaincy role and not take Keegan Bradley with how he's played this year.
Completely agree.
So the question is, does Keegan Bradley...
I think he's one of the 12 best Americans.
Take Keegan Bradley. He's in a very tough spot. He's been put in a very bad spot, in my opinion. I mean, being a captain at 38 years old, it's a great honor. We both loved it when it happened, but I believe we both also thought, like, he's not going to play his way onto that team.
He could make... it's possible, but I also thought, I was like, there's no way he's named captain if he gets picked for the last one either. So, like...
Yeah, so it's just a tough spot. If they win, everything's great. If they lose, he's going to be questioned about whether he played or whether he didn't play. If he plays and they lose, you couldn't focus on being captain. All this. If you don't play, it's like, how the hell would you not pick yourself? You're the 5th highest ranked American on the team. Like, you should have been on that team. It's a very difficult situation. As Al Davis always said, just win, baby.
At the end of the day, and I don't think this is necessarily the right way to judge it, but like, your decisions are based on the outcome. If you go out and win, whatever decision you made, even if it stinks, it's right because you won. If you go out and lose, it was wrong, right? Keegan Bradley, I think the more I think about it, I think he's going to not play, and I think he's going to stay captain. Like, tell me you couldn't all the like little off the course stuff. You look how many vice captains you have. You can't just pass that off. You can't outsource that out to all those guys. Ultimately, what's the biggest role of the captaincy? I think the pairings, right?
Dinner.
Yeah, like uniforms. You tell me he couldn't go out and play the best ball in the afternoon, both the first 2 days, watch the morning matches. You're going to have more or less kind of your pairings at least vaguely set up for that. Take inventory in the morning, go out, play the afternoon, reassess in the evening, do the same thing again and go out and do all that and then pass off all the other stuff for this. It's been 2 years, dude. He's been the captain. He's gone through all the media stuff, every interview, every question. There's not a time that he's been on the broadcast where they don't bring up that he's the Ryder Cup captain. Like, this is his baby. This is everything. I don't think he passes this off and says, I'm just be vice captain, and now someone slides in. By the way, if you're the guy that slides into that, you're like, does this count as my captaincy? Yeah. What if it's Jim Furyk? Does this count as me? I get it for 2 weeks?
Well, he's already done it.
You know what I mean? Excuse me. Yeah, anybody. Would I get it for 2 weeks? This is it? No, you want like the full thing. I think he's going to end up doing both. That's my guess. It might be wrong. I think he's going to do both.
I don't think you can just pass it off because that would, like you said, that would suck for somebody that got it and be like, oh, cool, I get to experience this for 2 weeks. Like Keegan, every tee box he's stepped on for the last 2 years, the place goes nuts. USA chants all over the place. He's fist pumping everybody. That wouldn't be right. It's a tough decision. I don't envy him because I think this. He came out and said this is the biggest decision of my life. But I can't wait for Wednesday. I'm actually going to be there in Frisco, Texas during the picks. I hope. I don't know if I hope. Like, I want it just to the best team possible. But I have a feeling just on his comments, like at some point, my jaw's probably going to hit the ground and be like, holy shit, he took him and didn't take him.
I didn't think that until his interview where he said there's some guys that think they're on that aren't going to be on. And I was like, oh, shit.
But he could also just be toying with everybody.
It could be. And do you think like with what Roy McIlroy said, and like there's been some other comments come from the European side, like you can't possibly play and be captain. It's impossible. And Keegan comes back and says, how do you know?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I loved. It's like, what do you know about doing it, dude? You've never done it. Arnold Palmer, unless you're talking to him, he's the only guy that can speak on this. You know what I mean? I think at this point, he's like, dude, I can make history. I can do both. And I don't think he's going to not play 5 matches even if he plays. I think he plays 3 at most. If he does it the way, like I said, I think it's very doable.
It's 100% doable. How about, too, at registration at the Tour Championship there at Eastlake, Arnold Palmer's golf bag from that year, he was a playing captain, was there in the trophy case right at registration. Like, if you believe in signs at all, it's just kind of like, oh, I got to do this. But you have a chance to make history too, which is also pretty cool.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, from now on, whenever this happens, if it ever happens again, people aren't going to be saying Arnold Palmer was the last playing captain. Keegan Bradley was the last playing captain. And if you win, you'll be celebrated forever.
Oh, forever. And it's like we said before, when you take those 6 auto qualifiers and you're in there, all right, boys, we got some decisions to make. Every single one of them is going to say, we want you to play, in my opinion. I don't think there'll be anybody being like, you're off right now. There's nobody just jumping off the page that is way better than Keegan at this point. And I think also they're going to say, dude, you're our captain. You've been our captain. You've been the one leading this charge for the last 2 years, basically. Like, don't bow out now. You got a bunch of great people around you. Use them and be the captain.
Yeah. Just make sure you're not playing that morning session. Be out there. Get the crowd going. See all your guys come to the first tee. Pump them up. That's part of what being a captain is. And that first tee on Friday is one of the greatest moments in all of golf. So I hope he's out there enjoying that. All right. Well, speaking of the Ryder Cup, Sleaze, the FedEx Cup playoffs are over. All we have left now is to see who Keegan Bradley is going to pick for his captain selections, and then the Ryder Cup will be ready to rock. And as we get closer to the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black, there's one way to make sure you're in the middle of it all.
We've teamed up with On Location, the official travel package provider of the PGA of America and the 2025 Ryder Cup, and they've put together an incredible way to experience Ryder Cup week in New York.
Check out the Ryder Cup Plus daily ticket packages. You'll get official access to the tournament grounds plus hospitality access to the International Pavilion. And here's the kicker.
These packages also include access to a special night event at 5 Irons Golf Grand Central location where we'll be there in person along with some other special guests, recapping the day, hanging out with fans, and teeing it up on the simulators.
The event also includes a Callaway club fitting, great food, drinks, and a vibe that's perfect for Ryder Cup week in the city. It's going to be a blast, and you can be a part of it.
Just head to onlocationexp.com/subpar to see the exact ticket packages that include access to the 5 Iron events that we will be at. Everything you need to know is right there.
Packages are limited and selling quickly as Ryder Cup energy builds with every FedEx Cup playoff. Again, that's onlocationexp.com/subpar to secure your spot.
Subpar is not directly affiliated with the PGA of America or the 2025 Ryder Cup. All packages are provided by On Location, the official travel package provider of the PGA of America and the 2025 Ryder Cup.
Full details and policies are available at onlocationexp.com. All right, the playoffs are in the books. Tommy Fleetwood, your champion. Over on the LIV side, John Rahm's Legion 13 beat Bryson DeChambeau's Crushers in a playoff. It was actually very exciting coming down the stretch. A lot of birdies being made. I did have a problem with that soft as hell 18th hole they played where everybody just drove it up there and chipped it from 40 or 50 yards. And everybody was making birdie, but pretty exciting finish. And John Rahm gets the individual title and the team title.
Yeah, I watched the last few holes of the playoff. There's a bunch of people out there. I know there's everybody on property was on that hole, but hell of a good finish. And by the way, when they ended up tapping in to win Legion 13, like there was like no applause. I feel like the whole place there was rooting for Bryson. But there's another couple of Euros that them with Tommy Fleetwood that are coming off a dub and playing good.
All right. Well, in my opinion, the main event of the weekend was the Big Iron up in Pine Canyon.
Valid.
Well, 3-man team event we played in up there. Pro, somewhat of a scratch.
Scratches.
Yeah, Shamble event, which we teed it up in, and you, Ricky Barnes, and Andrew Medley were the champions.
Shocked the world.
Yeah, really big shocker.
Shocked the world. There were some good teams, dude. James Hahn had a good team with Peter Tomasulo. Nate Lashley had a good team. You're not going to give
George Serra any love?
George Serra's a great player. Cal Bear. Dude, who else was up there? They were tour pros. Ryan Moore, Aaron Baddeley. There were some good teams up there. And we ended up going shamble both days, as opposed to shamble and then two best balls.
That's because the only people that thought we were playing fast would have been Patrick Cantlay.
It was not quick, but it was an awesome time. Shout out Pine Canyon. Yeah. I thought they did a phenomenal job with that. It was really, really fun. Dude, we only won by a point. The team that finished runner-up made an ace the first day, which when you are playing a shamble and you get to play from the best tee ball, guess what happens when you make an ace? You get two of them.
Which means I feel like you should have to buy drinks back-to-back days.
You should. Good time to do it, though, being that those were included with the entry fee. But 16 points in one hole. I mean, that's more than 5 birdies.
That's tough.
When I heard they made it, they were 2 groups in front of us. I was like, that's a shitload of points, boys. Yeah. So we got to go.
It was a lot of fun. Congratulations to y'all. I want to give my squad a little love here because I was trying to get, with the whole parimutuel thing, bet on who finishes last because I thought there was a pretty good chance We might finish last.
Is that a bet you can make?
No, it's not, but I was trying to get it because there was 3 teams, in my opinion, that I thought would battle for last. Because, look, I brought up my buddy Chris Demon, who's a working man. He's a businessman. And then Ben Marsh did play at the University of Arizona, but not quite the level of you and Andrew Medley and Ricky Barnes. But it was awesome, man. We finished 8th, almost got inside the money there. But my man Chris Demon in the Shamble the second day had 8 birdies, which was phenomenal.
Squad.
But we had a lot of fun, man. It was awesome. I can't wait to do it next year.
Yeah, that was a hell of a good time. The first annual. Great trophy, by the way. 6-shooter with 6 bullets inside there. Can't give enough props to Pine Canyon. Cool event, and I expect that to get bigger and bigger as it goes on. That was fun. All
right, well, quickly before we get to our interview with the young Mason Howell, the U.S. Amateur Champion, let's make some picks for we're going to do some football.
How'd you do opening week? I sent it on some shit I shouldn't have.
Well, I haven't bet a thing. Fun. Yeah, but I do want to say that my man Ben Griffin did cash top 10 plus 160 last week. So we did get into the season on a high note.
That's right. You were just trending. Just not enough weeks in the golf season.
I'm undefeated going into next year.
To really get going. Harris English, what he finished 2 out of the top 10. But I still think a winning season. All right. Ultimately.
We'll add it all up, but it was cool to see Ben Griffin get in there. He birdied the last to finish T9. Thank you.
Kid, see, that's how you show clutch. Up. That's the guy you need at the Ryder Cup. I'm telling you.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to some college football here. Week 1. Texas, Ohio State.
Yeah, good one.
What a way to start off. Lee Corso's final game day. If you haven't checked out the Lee Corso special on ESPN, not so fast, my friends. Phenomenal. You will cry. So get some tissues ready. But it was awesome. I cannot wait for college game day this Saturday. And my first pick, I think the Colorado Buffaloes are going to have a massive letdown this year. They lost Shador, Travis Hunter. I think the hype with them is bye-bye. And the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are coming into Boulder. They're favored by 4, and I think they just smash Colorado.
Okay, coming into Boulder. Haynes King, great quarterback. I looked at this whole slate. It's hard because you got a couple great games. You got Clemson. Who's Clemson playing first week? What am I doing?
LSU.
Thank you, LSU. You got Texas, Ohio State, some great, and then you got like some of these other teams are like minus 45. I'm playing podunk you.
Yeah, that's what they do.
So I'm going somewhere in the middle. I wanted to take TCU. We don't play till Monday. Against North Carolina. But I'm going to go with the hometown Arizona State Sun Devils. A lot of hype around the Sun Devils this year. It's like playoffs or bust. They went from like not having a team at all to all of a sudden it's like playoffs or it's a lost season. One of my favorite coaches in football, by the way, Kenny Dillingham. They're playing the boys up north where we just were, Northern Arizona, which they should have their at home. Place is going to be sold out. They got a lot of hype behind them. They're given 29, but this should be a game. Sam Levitt, dude, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. This feels like a 45-10 type of scenario or something like that, or it should be. So 29 ASU at home against
35 points
against the Lumberjacks. That'd be enough. That'd be a cover.
All right, good to be in football season where we actually talk about what we know instead of all this golf stuff.
I really made some shitty bets this first week, dude. Some second halves, first halves. I didn't even know what I was doing. By the way, the game in Dublin, Iowa State, Kansas State. Can we just stop shipping games overseas? There's football stadiums and soccer stadiums. There was no hash marks. You couldn't see any of the yardage lines. There was nothing. And it came down ultimately to a spot at the end of the game. Oh, and by the way, we only had one camera angle. You couldn't see where the actual ball was. You could only see the back of the ball carrier. If that was my team, I would be freaking out.
Clean it up. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, go download the Fanatics Sportsbook app. Follow us along for some more football picks, and then we'll get into some more golf picks. We'll have a lot of Ryder Cup bets, which I can't wait. But this week, our guest, we might have a future Ryder Cupper because he just won the United States Amateur. He'll be teeing it up for Team USA at the Walker Cup. He is Mason Howell on Golf Subpar.
All right, folks, it is a privilege to be joined by the third youngest winner in the history of the United States Amateur, winning the final 7 and 6 just 2 months after playing in the U.S. Open. It has been a hell of a summer for this man, and we're thrilled to have him. Mason Howell joins us. How we doing, Pods?
Doing well. How about you all?
Phenomenal.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. It was awesome watching you that week out there at Olympic, man. It was cool walking with you. Yeah, a hell of a lot of game. But before we get to the golf real quick, I want to know, how are the studies going there at Brookwood High School? Because you missed part of school because of the U.S. Amateur. Now you're going to be missing a lot of school because of the Walker Cup. How the grades looking?
Grades are looking actually okay. Missing the first week of school is not the biggest problem, but missing the third or fourth week of school next week for the Walker Cups, it's going to kind of suck. But no, it'll be the teachers are really good at working with me. Fortunately, I'm fortunate to have that because there are some teachers out there that don't handle athletes well. But yeah, no, the school's been really great in working with me, and grades they're kind of cruising right now. I just got to keep them there.
Yeah, nothing you can't
C's
catch up
get degrees.
on.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's valuable information. More importantly, how was the return when you came back home with the trophy? What was that like?
Oh no, it was Thomasville as a city, a town, just super welcoming back. I've been out to the country club and everybody's a lot of support there. And then but sitting in a classroom after a red-eye flight, that was no fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotta be a little rough. But hey, made it a little better knowing that you got that U.S. Amateur Trophy at home and everything that comes with it. Walker Cup, 3 major champions next year, which we'll get to. But I want to go back to the start of the week because, like everybody, you have to go through stroke play, top 64, get into match play. You find yourself in a playoff, 17 or 20 guys for 17 spots, and you just snuck through there to get to the 63rd seed. Take us through that playoff and kind of what your thought was, going into the week and through stroke play. Were you worried like, hey, I might end up missing match play here?
Yeah, no, exactly. After the first round of stroke play, I was in a good spot. I shot even on lake, and I was 3 under through 9 that round, so I gave a couple back coming in. Then I went over to the ocean course and just did not have it off the tee and kind of scrambled my butt off and made some good pars coming in to get to that 3 over number. And the next morning we were supposed to play hole 1 on ocean, which is normally a par 5, and it's like 525, and they threw a curveball at us and changed it to hole 9 on lake that morning. But I made a par on the first playoff hole. I figured that would be good enough. With a 20-17, you figure 3 people will make bogey. But it wasn't. We had to go to another hole. And after I made that bogey, I had my head down a little bit. I was like, man, that was a wasted opportunity. But I was gearing up to go to another playoff hole. But fortunately, somebody was 1 stroke higher. So I got my seed and looked at my bracket and decided it was game time.
Yeah, what hole was that second playoff hole on?
Second, it was on hole 10 on lake, which really isn't that hard. It's just a driver and a wedge, and I 3-putted from like 50 feet, and it wasn't pretty.
Well, the good news is you got in, but you mentioned you saw your bracket, and your bracket was not easy. I'm just going to go through the guys that you took down here. You had Tommy Morrison, one of the best AMs in the world, who you'll be teaming up with at the Walker Cup, as well as Ben James, Max Herendeen, John Daly II, and Eric Lee. And I believe other than John Daly II, all of the other ones were in the top 21 in the WAGR, in the World Amateur Golf Rankings. So you see that bracket. What were kind of your thoughts? Especially having to start off with a guy like Tommy Morrison, who was finished second in stroke play. Yeah, no, that's what I get for being 63rd seed. So no, everybody I played was super nice. But when I looked at my bracket, my caddy and I, Jimmy, we looked at each other and was like, well, you got to play him at some point. Might as well go and take him down now. So, that was kind of our mentality, but the talent just kept coming and we just stuck to our plan. And, at the end of the day in match play, the rankings, numbers, seeding, none of it matters. You're on the first tee and you're tied. You have 18 holes to see who's a winner. Yeah, walk us through that final few holes with Tommy Morrison, because I believe you were like 1 down with a few to play, and then you had that disgusting up and down on 18, I believe. But walk us through the last few of that. Yeah, no, I lost the first 2 holes. I started like double bogey, and I was like, that's not how you want to start against a top ring gamer in the world. But no, I was 2 down for a lot of the match, and called my way back to I think 1 down with 2 to play, and he got in some trouble on hole 17, so I tried to play a smart hole, and got it to hole 18, which was big, and we both hit it in the fairway like 2 feet away from each other. And I did the one thing you can't do, and one hopped it long onto a side of a mountain, it feels like, and made one of the best up and downs of my life. And we went to hole 1 as the extra hole, and that hole's brutal, and fortunately was able to get it done there, just to go home and gear up to play Ben James at like 9 a.m. the next day. Yeah, it didn't get much easier from there on out. But the Tommy Morrison one, going to extra holes, would you say like that was the match that you felt like, looking back at it, like, oh boy, I kind of got away with one there? Oh, absolutely. Because honestly, neither of us had, like, as the week went on, I feel like my game got better and better. Tommy and I, neither of us had our best stuff. Pars were winning a lot of holes, and in the extra hole, I won with a bogey. So it was just one of those things that
that's just match play. Yeah, if it was stroke play, we probably would have finished middle of the pack. But it's one of those things, you're just playing your opponent and not the field. But props to Tommy. He was a really nice guy. I'm looking forward to teeing up with him at Cyprus next week. And but that match was key for me because coming off the U.S. Junior, I kind of needed a win in match play.
Did you feel like after that first day, being that you went through the playoff and you thought you were in tough shape after the bogey, but a guy makes a double, then you get in, and then you close out that match the way you did with Tommy? Like after that day, you had to go home like, dude, like it's all lining up for me.
Yeah, no, exactly. I just needed to win one match. That's all I needed. I had been in kind of a match play funk in some past tournaments, and all I needed to do was get past one. And once I was able to move on to the round of 32, I knew I could take it all the way.
What do you think throughout the week the most nervous you ever were? Probably against Tommy or in that semifinal match, or maybe actually against Little John.
Yeah,
we were tied going into 18, and we had both tied with birdies, but the golf course was playing so hard that day, and he had just made an incredible up and down on 17 to push us going tie, or I was one up going into 18, but no, that against Little John, because that was the best golf I played all week. He was putting the hammer down all day.
That's awesome to hear, man. I know, and he gets a lot of support out there being John Daly's kid. That'd be really cool playing against him. But I want to just your thoughts on Olympic Club. When you first showed up, what were your thoughts on the golf course? Obviously, you know the history there, U.S. Open, multiple U.S. amateurs. It's a monster of a golf course for just over 7,000 yards.
No, yeah, absolutely. I love a golf course that puts a premium on fairways where you can't just whack it all over the place and still find your way on the green. The thick, rough, fast greens, it's a U.S. Open venue. That's how it feels like, kind of how Oakmont was, just a little shorter. But Olympic Club's awesome. I'm looking forward. We're going back this coming Saturday, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And that golf course is so pure, and I don't think it gets enough recognition.
Is that the whole Walker Cup team's going out, or are you just making a return trip?
Yeah, we all leave this Friday, and I think we have a team retreat there or something on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that.
Is that going to be awkward at all, being that you beat a few of them on the way there? Be like, hey guys, remember this is where I closed you out? This is where I closed you out.
I've talked to some of them. I think it might be a little bit better that they lost to the eventual champion. That maybe puts a little better taste in their mouth. But no, I'm fine with Ben James on Saturday or Friday. So we'll be good. We'll be good by Saturday.
Let me ask you about that Walker Cup though, because you're the only high school kid on it. Most of them are college, and you got Stewie, who's the grown up of the group. But what's your relationship like with those guys? Do you get a chance to interact with them prior to the U.S. Amateur, or will you be meeting some of these guys for the first time?
I'll be meeting a lot of them for the first time. I met Ben and Tommy briefly. We chatted a little bit during our matches, but I've known Koivan. I took a visit to Auburn, and he's super nice. He reached out yesterday to me, and we've talked a little bit. And then Stuart, he called me right after I won, and we had a long chat. And he was super nice as well. So I'm looking forward to meeting these guys and growing a relationship with them and being teammates with them.
Yeah, y'all got a hell of a squad. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch, and it's at Cypress Point. Yeah. But going into the finals there, did you know that you and the Fridge were like basically playing for the last spot?
Yeah, so somebody told me, I had no idea, like, going into match play. I wasn't even on my mind. Obviously, I was like 300 something on Wagger, so no chance for a pick or anything like that. But somebody told me, like, after my quarterfinal match, and that gives you like something to play for in that championship match. Because obviously runner up comes with a lot of perks, but a spot on that Walker Cup team that's unreal.
Yeah, that's massive. But go back to that semifinal match, because talking to some people, like, that's the one you feel the most pressure in, because if you make to the finals, like you said, like typically that comes with a Masters invite. How much was that on your mind, just that semifinal match getting through?
So some people say like that you got to put it out of your mind, but it's like almost impossible.
Yeah.
I played with that in my head all day, and that gave me like a really big goal to strive toward. And I was playing against Eric Lee, who could get up and down from Mars.
Yeah.
But no, that was on my mind all day. It was just kind of channeling it, not letting it take over. And but yeah, my caddy and I, we kept the conversations light and off that topic. So we tried to focus as much on golf as we could that day.
Yeah, well, now you can definitely talk about it because, I mean, I feel fairly confident that you'll be teeing it up at Augusta National. By the way, you will also be playing with Rory McIlroy the first 2 days. What are your thoughts on that?
Just hoping his drives won't be taking too much aerial photos of mine as this is flying past. So, no, but I remember in 2016, I have one of his golf balls sitting in my room right now from the Tour Championship up in Atlanta. I went to watch and he gave me his golf ball in like the 4th hole, and I've kept it ever since.
Wow.
So it'll be kind of a full circle moment. He
That's
was like my favorite player growing up.
Excuse me, Harris English is going to be very offended.
No, we heard it. It's official.
Harris,
It was Rory.
Hometown. Some people say like, who do they look up to? Like Tiger and people like that. Like Rory was my guy because he was the best golfer. Like for me growing up.
Yeah, you
Harris,
were born post-Tiger.
Harris was just an okay golfer.
Yeah, he's just all right.
He's just my buddy.
I'll tell you what, you drove it pretty damn good at Olympic from what I saw. What's your, like, lengthwise? Where do you stand right now? Ball speed, club head.
Ball speed, I'm around 184.
God.
In
competition, and then, club head speed is like 122 or something like that. But I've picked up so much speed over the last, like, 4 months. It's going in the summer out of nowhere.
Damn.
What is it? How'd you do it? Did you get a growth spurt, or what are you just swinging harder?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I need it.
Definitely a growth spurt, and then that's kind of like I've kind of calmed down a little bit on growing, so I've been able to kind of find my own swing and be able to cruise at a little bit of a faster swing. And my golf swing has a lot of lag, so at the bottom, that's where a lot of my speed is, and but it's being able to channel it because at Olympic, some of those days I rarely found myself hitting like full iron shots. And you have to hit so many like fairway finding drives out there because you don't want to miss the fairway on a U.S. Open venue.
No, especially there with that rough being 5-6 inches long at times.
And, I appreciated Niles, Shields, Donegan, all of his fans. They were just patting down the rough all week.
That did help. That was actually discussed. I brought that up to Craig Winter of the USGA. I was like, hey, going forward in these things, we have massive crowds. You might want to keep them like 10 yards from the fairway because they have trampled this rough.
Yeah, no, as the week went on, it got easier and easier to play out of. And everything was just like tapped down, it was like down grain. So it honestly played its hardest in stroke play.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. We're going to take a break from our episode with Mason Howell. I wanted to take a minute and thank one of our sponsors, Carlisle Companies. Look, I know these guys at Carlisle. I'm good friends with their CEO, and they are doing some pretty cool and innovative things around energy efficiency for homes and commercial buildings. They also help contractors get more out of their labor. I'm just super pleased that Carlisle is a sponsor of our show. Here's a stat for you. Nearly 40% of all energy consumption in the U.S. comes from buildings. 40%. So to reduce energy usage and our energy bills, we've got to make buildings more energy efficient. And that's what Carlisle does. And they do it in really cool ways. For example, Carlisle recently launched a cutting-edge new insulation that's made from recycled blue jeans. That's right, blue jeans. It's called Ultra Touch Insulation. Ultra Touch is readily available at the Home Depot, and it's safe to handle and easy to install. Carlisle's Ultra Touch makes insulation easy. And not only does it save you money, but it also keeps about 20 million pounds of old blue jeans out of our landfills. I know when you think blue jeans, you're probably thinking how you wish yours fit better, but you should be thinking Carlisle. Ultra Touch recycled denim insulation from Carlisle. Learn more at carlisle.com. Now back to Mason Howell. Going back to Cypress Point here. Have you ever played Cypress Point?
I have not. It'll be my first time in like the full beach area. So,
wow. Do y'all have any other golf? I mean, because the Walker Cup, for those that don't know, is just that Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, you'll play some practice rounds at Cypress, but do y'all have any other golf set up that week?
I think we're playing Pebble on Monday, and then we're going to go play Olympic on this coming Saturday.
So you're playing. You got
it's a good trip.
You got Olympic, Pebble, and a week's worth of golf at Cypress Point. Yeah. Oh, tough break, kid.
Tough to miss math for all that. Tough to miss math for all that.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry to my teachers.
Yeah. Was the Walker Cup something that was even like on your radar like earlier this summer? Like you mentioned your Wagger. Was that like a goal you were aspiring towards? Because typically high school kids, it's not like, that's a college thing.
Yeah, no. Honestly, no, not at all. I qualified for the U.S. Open. I would have needed like a insane finish there to really get that ranking up. And, I've had, other than that, I've had a good summer. I've just had a lot of kind of top 10 finishes, which is great, but I haven't really gotten anything done, but I've been playing really well and just not getting much out of it. And, yeah, so breaking through last week was big for my confidence and going forward. But no, the Walker Cup wasn't even on my mind until I got past that like quarterfinal match.
Man, well, it's going to be incredible. I don't think you'll ever feel what you're going to feel when you tee it up for the first time for your country. Have you been? Have you done the whole outfit fitting and all that?
Yeah, we've got they sent the shipment of clothes. It's downstairs and in my living room. It is way too much. I have no more closet space. But no, we're getting like tailored for our jackets and stuff like that at Olympics. So that's kind of why we're going back there. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to repping the red pants and just representing the red, white, and blue.
You're gonna look good. You're going to look good in that, right? Go back to that U.S. Open because, like, that's kind of when I, like, speaking for myself, that's when I first heard you, when you shot the 63, 60T at, you know, locals, and you go play the U.S. Open. Now you're U.S. amateur champ. What's this whirlwind been like media attention, things like that? Like, I feel like you kind of just been, you know, hoist into the spotlight.
Yeah, no, it was kind of sudden, but I honestly, going into that U.S. Open final qualifier, I had been playing really well at home, and my golf course is honestly like fairly similar to the one I did qualifying at, and that was my first time ever playing that golf course, and yeah, it was just kind of like one of those things that what happened, I blacked out, but
was it 18 pars, 18 birdies?
Yeah, 18 pars, 18 birdies.
It's a good ratio.
It normally works.
It's a good ratio.
No, that day was unreal. I don't even know how to describe it. It was just one of those things where everything felt like it was clicking, and I still hit some bad shots, but on the holes I hit bad ones, I was making a 10-footer for par or something like that. But but it's been crazy because that was kind of unexpected, and then a lot of just media attention and stuff that I never thought I would really have to deal with this early on the trajectory I was on. That's kind of thrown my way, but it's I love it. I know it's just a part of it, but I enjoy competing in these big events. And I told my dad right after the U.S. Open was over, right after I missed the cut, I was like, I want to be back next year. If any way possible, I want to be back next year.
Well, good news.
Yeah, you're going to be back.
Good news.
You're going to play in 3 of the 4 biggest tournaments in the world next year. That being the Masters, the U.S. Open, and the Open Championship. I mentioned the Masters earlier, but have you ever had a chance to play at Augusta National or spend any time there?
I've not played. I know University of Georgia, we go once a year if your grades are eligible. So that's incentive to rack up some good grades. But I went with my dad to a practice round in 2019. And that was the first time I'd been on property, and it just looks like it's like AI generated. It's unreal.
Yeah, decent guy won that year too.
If your grades are good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Brian Harmon can stay eligible, by God, I bet you can too.
Yeah.
Speaking of Georgia, you're committed there to go there after your last year of high school. You mentioned going to Auburn as well. Any other visits you took or any other schools you considered?
Yeah, no, I considered 4 all pretty local. I took a visit to Georgia, Auburn, and Alabama, and took a pretty good look at Florida State. I actually lived in Tallahassee for like 5 to 6 years, so I was pretty in tap with that golf program. And the recruiting process is awesome. But I grew up a Bulldog. Both my parents went there. My sister's there right now, and I grew up going to games in Athens. So that was always kind of a dream of mine, and it was just hard to say no to it.
The recruiting process is awesome if you're as good as you are. No thought.
No, yeah.
What about Miles? Maybe teaming up with Miles Russell at Florida State? Did that ever maybe think about that at all?
I mean, at the time, I guess he was playing in pro events. People were like, "Is he even going to go to college?"
Good
and we
point.
really didn't know. But we've got a good team because Hamilton Coleman, my roommate, won the U.S. Junior. So we'll definitely play a practice round at Shinnecock next year. But that we'll be coming in hot to Athens next fall.
Who was what school was runner up in the Mason Howell sweepstakes? Because the coach I talked to said, like, look, I always figured he'd be a Georgia guy, just given the family history.
Yeah, no, it was close. With Alabama's new facility, I had like $40-something million. That was really hard to say no to. It is unbelievable. But then like Auburn's so good. It's one of those things that it's like you have a really good shot to win a national championship if you go to Auburn. They always bring in so much talent every year. So it was hard to, those phone calls are always hard, but it's something I'm grateful for, being able to have the opportunity to talk to so many of those high Division I schools.
Well, the good news is you're going to a place where Coach Hack, all he does is produce PGA Tour winners. So
Yep. That was also a hard draw.
I mean, they got 1,000 of them. It seems like everybody you talk about is a Georgia Bulldog out there. But
I was as much as I love seeing Fleetwood win, I was rooting for Henley.
Yeah, of course you are. That's your dog. You got to. You mentioned you've grown up just being a dog all your life. Who's your favorite Georgia Bulldog of all time? Any sport.
Any sport. Oof. Probably. Honestly, Nick Chubb. I love like his like demeanor. Like he's just super humble and super confident at the same time. And I hate how his NFL career has panned out, but like in college, he was like my favorite player to watch.
Are you going to any games this fall?
Oh yeah, I'll be at Georgia, Alabama, and hopefully Georgia, Texas, and maybe sprinkle in a couple others.
Oh, I forgot about Georgia, Texas. Yeah.
Texas has got a ridiculous schedule.
Yep. That's tough. How far is that from home for you?
We're about 4.5 hours from Athens, so we're not very. We're only like 30 minutes from Tallahassee, so it's a little quicker to go to state games. But yeah, no, I'll try to make a trip up there at least 2 or 3 times. That's
going to be awesome. Well, you mentioned your home golf course earlier, Glenarvan Country Club, which is where Harris English also grew up. At what age did you meet Harris, and did he kind of take you under his wing a little bit? Because a lot of people, when we were out there, they're like, this guy swings it quite a bit like Harris English.
Yeah, no, I was like probably like 12 when I first met him. He was just out there, and he introduced himself as nice as he always is. Yeah, and he's one of those guys that I've always looked up to, and he sent me a text almost after every match at the AM, just like keep your foot on the gas, it's not over, just things like that. And getting a text from a professional like that is succeeding, like doing so well on tour right now, that's huge for me and my confidence. And then he was at Oakmont this year. I played 2 practice rounds with him. I was only going to play 1 with him, and I sent him a text. I was like, do you mind if I play 9 with you on Tuesday? And he was like, yeah, absolutely, come on. And so he's just been awesome. And yeah, his golf game is unreal too. It was crazy at Oakmont on Monday. I did not feel like he hit the ball very well. He was not finding very many fairways, and I played with him on Tuesday, and he could not miss. So that is it's crazy how those pros can just flip a switch like that.
Yep, and he's been good for a long, long time. Do you think you win the USAM without playing in that US Open? Did that kind of, soften the magnitude of the event a little bit?
Absolutely. It got playing in the US Open got me used to kind of playing in crowds like that at the USAM, because I think the semifinal matches at the USAM was like the second most tickets sold ever for a semifinal in USAM history. And yeah, so playing in front of a crowd like that's awesome. You can kind of feed off of it, even if they're cheering against you. But yeah, no, playing at Oakmont, I learned so much. Like even if it was just sitting around the chipping green and watching some of those pros and how they get the ball around, and then just translating that to my own game. Like I would sit there at Oakmont and I watched Jordan Spieth hit 5 to 10 chips, and then try to do the same thing. So yeah, no, just learning as much as I can from the pros at Oakmont was definitely huge for my game.
That's awesome. And you're right about that semifinal day there at Olympic. I mean, those crowds were insane. Obviously, they had a local guy trying to get to the finals, but man, I've never seen people like that at a U.S. Amateur.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. We were playing behind him, and yeah, we caught up to him at one point, and I was like, good Lord. Yeah, we'd have to wait 4 minutes on the tee box just for the crowd to clear the fairway.
Yeah, it was jammed. We talked about Harris English, your relationship with him. Do you have any other kind of relationship with any of the professional golfers?
I know the Strakas a little bit. I've played with Sepp's brother a couple times. He only lives like 45 minutes down the road, and Sepp stayed next to us at Oakmont in an Airbnb, and yeah, he's been super nice. He sent me a bunch of texts. We were gonna get together at Oakmont, but it didn't work out. But I hope one of these tournaments in the future next year we'll be able to tee it up together. But he's been texting me, and he's also a super good role model. It's just those Bulldogs, we always stick together and have some sort of connection.
It's a family. It's an enormous family. Did you get any texts or calls or anything from anyone you weren't expecting to that you're like, oh wow, that's cool?
Yeah, probably the one that kind of blew me away was Governor Brian Kemp, governor of Georgia. So that was pretty random, but it was kind of cool to see somebody that many people kind of that voted for and just things like that just sent me a text. So that was kind of random, but it was kind of cool.
Didn't you get a sign in your hometown? Did I see that? on your
Yeah,
Instagram? Like,
we got a
honoring
couple.
you?
They actually put those signs up before I even got back from San Francisco. So
Damn.
That's awesome.
sweet. You got one of those at Pilot Point? They put you a sign up for
Full
the
body
kid?
bronze.
Yeah.
Full body
No
bronze,
chance.
bud.
No chance.
They're still working on it,
It's
by the
full
way.
body. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Been working on it for 18 years.
Oh god.
Oh God, I felt so old walking around there. It was terrible.
Yeah. Were you born in 2007?
yep.
This is a fun
2007.
game we like to play with some of our younger guests. First Tiger memory. Like watching it live, not a rerun.
First Tiger memory. Oh boy. Honestly, like one that comes to mind so much is when he like first went down for his like big back injury. Maybe in like 20. And this is not a good memory at all. But that was something that like when the public's reaction to like him really going down to his first injury kind of showed me like how big of a deal he really was. Because like it was like the world was ending. Like Tiger's hurt, the world's ending. It was one of those things. But no, I honestly like I was so locked in on Rory growing up that yeah, that was my person I looked up to.
I think you got to take the ball to Augusta and show it to him.
I know. It's sitting up there. It's a Nike. It says Roars on it.
If he hits one in like Rays Creek or something, you'd be like, hey, just in case you run out, I got this for you.
Here it is.
Yeah.
This is the old one.
That's awesome, man. I cannot wait to see you walking around with Rory McIlroy Thursday, Friday at Augusta. That's going to be just all time.
Yeah, that'll be an experience I'll remember forever.
Sorry, have you decided who you're taking and how many trips you're going to take up to Augusta pre-Masters?
Well, hopefully that invite comes in the mail this winter. And if it does, I'm going to try to take as many trips as I can and prepare for that thing. And going to have the same caddy on the bag that I had at the USAM.
What's your relationship with him?
Yeah, he's he's the assistant pro out at Glenarvan, and he's been my high school coach the past 3 years, I think. And he's also like my short game coach. And we actually played 18 holes yesterday, so he's very in touch with my game and kind of knows what my game's about. And yeah, he was on the bag for me at Oakmont, and it's been cool to kind of go all through this with him.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, if you need a couple of golf guys, broadcasters, podcast guys,
Yeah, dude, I can show you around that joint.
maybe somebody that followed you all week at Olympic Club, just phone call away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're probably desperate for finding people to take out.
Maybe we'll implement some burger dogs.
Okay, we're going to get to the burger dogs. Yeah.
Burger dogs.
Save that. Should we get to the E9?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We're going to ask this to you because you're a young buck. You're 18. By the way, when's your birthday?
It is June 28th. It's 2007.
Okay. Mine's the 26th, but thank God you're actually born when I won the AM. You're 2 months old, but whatever. Doesn't matter.
What do you remember most about that 2007 USAM? No, I'm playing.
Stud one. All right. First, we're going to ask you this. We know you have a girlfriend. That's fine. No big deal. You can still answer this. Celebrity female crush.
Oh, you're going to get me in trouble.
No way.
No, this is probably realistic chance right now.
Oh, probably Sydney Sweeney right now.
Yeah.
She's got nice jeans out here.
What do you like about her, Mason?
Nice jeans.
What is it about Sydney that you find? I'm playing.
My mom might be listening, dude. I can't answer that.
Yeah, good point. We don't want to get you in trouble.
That's beautiful.
Good choice. She's hot in the streets right now.
Mm-hmm.
Name's
Very
buzzing.
popular.
All right, I got my question. You got the nickname Moose, but you're not like an enormous dude or something like. I got a friend named Moose. We got a friend named. He's 6'8", 270, so that kind of makes sense.
He would eat you.
How do you get the nickname Moose?
No, it's something my granddad gave it to me when I was really little, and it's just kind of stuck. I actually got Instagram when I was 7, which is way too early.
Mm-hmm.
But my MH Moose on Instagram, I've never changed that before. That was from when I was 7. So
keep that.
You got Instagram at 7?
Yeah, that was an older sister thing. So
I got a 6-year-old, but she can't spell. I don't know how she's gonna be posting pictures.
I don't know who let me do that or whose idea that was, but yeah, do not let your children get Instagram at 7.
Well,
but
more importantly, keep that nickname.
Yeah, it's good.
It's pretty big between my buddies on around junior golf, so it's just kind of stuck.
Well, we will make it famous, and everyone will call you Moose when you're going up and down the fairways for sure.
I love it.
All right, next one. You became the 5th USGA champion from Glenarvan Country Club. Mm-hmm. Can you name the other 4?
I can name, I think, I know Megan. I play golf with Megan all the time.
She won the 2023 U.S. Women's Am. Yeah, all four of them are U.S. Women's Amateur champions, by the way.
Yes. There's only one other I think I can name, and it's like Beatrix or something like that. I don't even know.
Yeah,
they're all from like pre-1930.
Yeah, Beatrix Hoyt won in like 1896, 7, and 8.
Yeah, she won it 3 times in a row.
She's a hell of a player.
Say the name of the other one, but
Beatrice.
Yeah, that was whenever Megan won, and I found out she was the 4th champion at Glenarvan. I was kind of shocked by that.
That is wild, man. That's really impressive. The other two, Frances Grimson and Mary Lena Falk.
Yeah, great player. Mary Lena.
And now the Moose.
Exactly.
You're in good company. You're in good company. All right, my next one before I get to my last two, which will be fun. Just let's do a little get to know Mason Howell. Give me like your most frequently played artists on your iTunes and last show you binge watched on Netflix.
Okay, most frequently played probably Drake, and then last show I binge watched probably Suits.
Good one.
Suits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one.
What do you think about Donna?
Meghan Markle.
What do you think about Donna, more importantly?
Donna's all time.
Donna. Love Donna.
Colt's into the redheads.
I don't mind them. Don't mind them. All right, next one. You mentioned burger dogs earlier. That's what Olympic Club is known for. How many did you have throughout the week?
So I couldn't get him. Like I wanted some during my matches and competition rounds, but the lines were too long when I was on the course. So I ate 6, and that was between both practice rounds. So it's like 3 a day.
Yeah,
that's solid.
6.
It's well done. Sesh.
By the way, you're playing. You just walk over with your putter and be like, "Excuse me, guys, I'm kind of doing something right now. I need to cut the line," and they'll allow it.
Yeah, that's how it was. Like whenever you try to use the bathroom on the golf course, going to the porta potties, it's like, "You guys mind if I go ahead?"
Yeah. You just don't say, "Do you mind?" You say, "Just so you know, I'm going ahead."
Excuse me.
Yeah.
How about for a U.S. amateur? I thought this was pretty impressive. They sold 8,000 burger dogs that week.
I mean, some people were giving them like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10s. Those things were 9, maybe 10 out of 10.
They're good. They're good. Yes, Stuart.
One guy gave him. You need to talk to him about that, dude.
Stewie.
You can't go into Olympic and disrespect their marquee food. Stewie.
What was his rating?
Like a 6-1 or
6-1.
something.
He was compared to some fancy burger place in New York City.
Yeah.
Bogus. That's bogus.
Yeah.
We're at a golf course, dude.
Yep. The burger dog got substantial coverage, by the way, during the broadcast. So if it was a secret, it no longer is. Okay, my next one. I need to know this because there's a video of you that went around social media after you went 7-up in the final, doing this 6-7. I guess it's like a TikTok thing or something. Colt and I are old as shit, so we don't really know what's going on TikTok. Explain to me what that was.
Yeah, the middle scores at school are really hazing me for that one. But no, I couldn't even explain it. Like it's something in a song, and it's probably one of the dumbest things that has ever blown up. But it has so much like popularity with kids my age and younger, and I don't know. It's just whenever those two numbers are put together, it's just people just put their hands and up and down like that. But no, one of my buddies that flew out to watch the championship match, it was right after I went 7-up. He went like that, and so I just looked at him and did it back, and then I didn't realize the camera was on me, and somebody put it on TikTok, and it went viral.
I gotta look this up.
Yeah, 6-7. I clicked on it. That's what they do. Drop that in the next broadcast in between holes 6 and 7.
I can
you
do
get
that.
a lot of young fans.
That'll make it. That'll go big on TikTok.
So how do you
6-7
from 6 to 7?
Yeah, that's good. Something like
you got it perfect.
Yeah, I can do that. That's no problem.
We're so hip.
Yeah,
we're fucking cool.
I wish I could have like a better explanation. I just don't know like what exactly it means or like what it is.
Well, I would have never even known it was a thing until it went on Twitter. People were like, "Oh, he's doing the TikTok thing," and I was like, "What is that?" So I had to do a little. I dug in a little. That's good to know.
I'll have to look this up.
Good for your young fans.
All right, you're heading to Augusta National. It's early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Practice rounds are going. You can pick any 3 guys that are in the tournament to play with.
Okay.
Who are we going with?
All right, definitely Scotty, and then probably Harris again. I love playing with Harry, and then who would I play with? It's a tough pick. I'm playing with or maybe playing with Rory later in the week, so I might sit him out of these practice rounds and probably put like Sepp in there maybe, or if Joaquim Neiman plays, if he gets in, I love Joaquim. he would be in my group.
All right, I like that.
There
Good
you go.
idea, the Scotty one. By the way, he knows a little something. He could probably share a little inside info around that place.
Yeah, no, I tried to join his group at Oakmont, but it all said booked and some guy named Sam Burns. I was like, what are we doing?
Jesus, Sam.
Sam doesn't leave his hip.
Share the wealth a little, Sammy.
Yeah.
Let me get a little time. All right, all those are probably on the table for you, by the way. All right, my last one. Let me preface this because your mom might be listening. I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is just a hypothetical. But if it were the case, let's say you get up to Athens as a freshman. If you were to borrow an ID from a former Georgia player so that you could partake in the social activities up there, whose ID would be the most believable for you? Harris English, Hudson Swafford, or Davis Thompson?
I'll probably say Hudson Swafford. People do, like, the coaches at Georgia, they called Harris Giraffe, and they already call me Little Giraffe. But I feel like I might have more Hudson than Harris. I don't know.
I would have gone with Davis Thompson. I don't know why. That was just the first thing.
He's a little huskier, but like, yeah, hair color and all that. The good news is I think you got 3 options. They won't even bat an eye. They'll be like, yep, have a good time, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, you're not the Little Giraffe. You're Moose. Tell him. Jim Doug.
Yeah.
I know Jim Doug.
I don't know where that's coming from. I gotta get on him about that.
Why are we not calling Harris Giraffe this whole time? Why did that not get out?
I just learned about it.
Yeah, I know. But how did it just now?
Yeah, Jim Douglas gives me all my info on the Georgia guys. He forgot to leave that one. He left that one out.
Yep.
And by the way,
Giraffe.
Jim, he will only be called Moose from here on out.
Yeah, exactly. I hope he's listening to this.
Oh, he's listening. Trust me. He's always listening. All right, my last one. Your sister. She's the nutritionist for the football team at Georgia. How would she feel about Miles Russell's diet that consists of only chicken strips and pizza?
I mean, honestly, that's pretty similar to my diet. So, yeah, she looks at me at dinner sometimes like, really, that's all you're going to get? Chicken and cheese? Like at her Mexican restaurant, like you're just going to get chicken and cheese on your tacos? What are you doing?
I like it.
But Miles is in better shape than almost anybody. So
I know it's not fair.
I didn't know that. She's the nutritionist.
Yeah.
Maybe she could teach driver's ed up there in her free time.
Yeah, no, I told her, like, you got.
They all seem to eat fine. It's
You're
driving.
not in a car with a football player.
No.
Ever.
Driving seems to be a slight issue up there
I don't
in
know
Athens.
what's going on. I don't know why we like drag racing so much.
Can they not just hire a private driving
Yeah.
service for the whole team? They got $20 trillion up there. Like no
Well,
one
it's kind of
drives.
weird. On my visit, I walked in the football facility and was seeing all these like race car arcade games, and I was like, "What are we doing?"
Maybe
here?
this is the
That's
reason.
it,
Get
dude.
out of there.
That's it. It's carrying over to real life.
Maybe we get Pac-Man, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Mason, man, Moose, this has
Yeah.
been a pleasure, dude. We're so happy for you. Congrats on winning the U.S. Amateur. Best of luck to you and the team at the Walker Cup out at Cypress. We'll be watching and can't wait to see you at the major championships next year.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. Congratulations.
All right, that was the 125th U.S. Amateur champion, Mason Howell, joining us on Subpar.
The
By the way,
Moose.
he'll only be known as Moose on this show from now on. I love that nickname. It's going to stick. We're going to make sure of it. But what a week for him there at Olympic Club. And how about just how nice of a kid
Yeah.
this is? He's got some personality at 18 years old.
Yeah, I went from not knowing anything about him to studying up, now talking to him. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Big fan. Easy guy to be a fan of. Golf game is way beyond his years. And when he said, like, I hope Rory's not dropping mail on me, which, by the way, he drops it on everybody he plays with. I was like, oh, what's your ball speed, club head speed? Oh, 184, 185, 122. I'm like, yeah, you're going to be just fine. And he drove the eyeballs out of it, especially in that championship match. That was the difference. He just kept peppering fairways, making pars. Jackson missing fairways. You can't play that place.
Fairways
From
and
the rough.
greens. Don't forget to wave as I fly by. And that's exactly what he did.
6'7".
Against the fridge. Yeah, I got to work on that. I'm going to figure out how to get that in the
I
broadcast.
don't know what it is, but I'm going to start saying it.
Just anyways.
Yeah. Just be the old dorky guy that tries
Do
to
it
use
with all the numbers
the
and see if
kid
people are going to be
stuff.
like, look at this old idiot.
Yeah.
He doesn't even get it. That's
Yeah.
only 6 and 7.
He's super cool.
Yeah. But
He's a super
he's
cool
awesome,
guy.
man. He's going to have a hell of a time out there at the Walker Cup. That is going to be so sick at Cypress Point. Cannot wait to watch it. But thanks to Mason Howell for joining us. Moose, you're the man, and you got a very bright future, my friend.
A very, very bright future. Huge thank you for coming on. If you're looking for some gifts for some friends and some family, good news. You head over to T-Commerce because there's nothing like rocking custom gear. I just made some birdie juice tees, and the whole process was fast, simple, and the quality was spot on. You can do the same. Design your own polos, hats, hoodies, and more from top golf brands, all featuring your favorite logos. Ditch the off-the-shelf look and visit shop.golf.com and create something that's truly yours. Maybe get yourself 5, 6, 7 shirts.
There you go. I
See,
like
I
that.
just
That'd be
worked that-
very
I worked
good.
that
Well
in
played.
naturally.
You're a
Yeah.
professional.
Yep.
I like it. All right. Well, thanks to Mason Howell. Thanks to Fanatics Sportsbook. All of our sponsors. It's been a hell of a day. We'll talk to you on next week's Subpar.